If you're even thinking about selling in the next few years, here's something that should worry you. The yard you love, the one you've poured weekends and money into, might be quietly costing you thousands of dollars the moment an appraiser or a buyer walks the property. Because the things that make a yard feel personal and lived into you are very often the exact things that make a buyer's stomach sink, start doing math in their head, and either lowball you or walk away entirely. This isn't about whether your yard looks pretty for Instagram. It's about what a buyer, an inspector, and an appraiser actually see when they're deciding what your house is worth. So today I'm counting down 9 yard features that are quietly killing your home's resale value right now. The ones real estate agents see tank and offer over and over, and exactly what to do about each one before you ever put up a sign. Stick around for number 1, because it's the single most dangerous item on this list, and it can genuinely blow up a sale at the closing table. And tell me in the comments, are you selling soon or just future-proofing? Before we get into the list, here's the mindset shift that makes this whole video make sense. When you live in a house, you optimize your yard for how you use it. When you sell a house, every single buyer who walks through is silently asking one question about everything they see. What is this going to cost me? And what am I going to have to deal with? A feature you built out of love can look to a stranger like a future expense, a future headache, or a future argument with an inspector. That's the lens for this entire list. Number 9, chain link fencing. It's cheap, it's durable, and it does the job of keeping a dog or kids contained, which is exactly why so many yards have it. But to a buyer, a chain link fence reads as one thing. This is going on my to-do list. It doesn't offer privacy, it doesn't look intentional, and it silently tells a buyer this is going to be one more project and one more expense after they move in. The fix, if you're prepping to sell, isn't necessarily a full fence replacement. Even swapping just the sections visible from the street or the main living areas to a simple wood or vinyl privacy fence can change the entire feel of the yard for a few hundred to a couple $1,000s, which is a lot cheaper than the price cut buyers will mentally apply on their own. Number 8, an overgrown foundation planting swallowing the house. Shrubs planted decades ago that were never kept in check grow up over windowsills, block natural light, and physically hide the architecture of your home behind a wall of green. Buyers don't consciously register overgrown shrubs. They register a vague sense that the house feels dark, hidden, and neglected, and that feeling colors every single room they walk into next. The fix is one of the cheapest on this entire list. A hard, aggressive prune, or in the worst cases, pulling out badly overgrown shrubs entirely and replacing them with something appropriately sized. A weekend of work and maybe $100 in tools can undo years of a yard slowly closing in on itself. Number 7, a high-maintenance water feature. A koi pond or an elaborate multi-tier fountain might be your pride and joy, but to a huge slice of buyers, especially anyone with small children, a body of water in the yard is an immediate liability flag, and to almost everyone else it reads as ongoing work. Pumps, algae, cleaning, winterizing. It doesn't expand your buyer pool, it shrinks it. If you're preparing to sell, the honest move is to simplify. Remove it, fill it in, and turn that space back into usable lawn or a simple planting bed, or downsize to a small, self-contained bubbling fountain that reads as a feature instead of a chore. Number 6, an oversized personal hobby setup taking over the yard. A sprawling vegetable garden, a chicken coop, a full greenhouse. These are wonderful if you're the one using them, but a buyer who doesn't want to garden or raise chickens doesn't see a bonus. They see square footage of yard they don't want and work they didn't ask for. The issue isn't having these things, it's the footprint. The fix is scale. Keep a modest garden bed if you like, but don't let a hobby setup consume the majority of a usable yard. Buyers want to picture their own life in the space. A huge, hyper-specific installation makes that harder, not easier. Number 5, trees planted too close to the house, the driveway, or the sewer line. That tree might have been a sapling when you planted it, but decades of root growth can crack a driveway, lift a foundation, or invade underground pipes, and inspectors are trained to spot exactly this. When a buyer's inspection report flags root intrusion or a tree too close to the structure, it becomes a bargaining chip. and buyers will often ask for thousands of dollars off or demand the tree be removed before closing at your expense and on their timeline. If you've got a large tree within about 10 to 15 feet of your foundation or driveway, get an arborist to assess it now on your terms, rather than letting a buyer's inspector surface it as a surprise later. Quick heads up before the top 3, because these are the ones that don't just shave a little off your price, they can scare off buyers entirely or blow up a deal at the closing table. And number 1 is the single most dangerous thing on this whole list. So stick with me. Number 4, a dead, patchy, or bare lawn. This is the very first thing every single buyer sees before they even get out of the car, and it does something sneaky to their brain. It primes them to expect problems everywhere else in the house too. A rough lawn signals deferred maintenance as a general vibe, and buyers start walking through looking for more of it, scrutinizing things they'd otherwise ignore. Here's the good news. This is one of the cheapest fixes on the entire list relative to its impact. Overseeding bare patches, a round of fertilizer, and consistent mowing in the weeks before you list can transform the first impression for well under $100. It is genuinely one of the highest return moves you can make before selling. Number 3, a swimming pool, especially in a market where pools aren't the norm, or one that isn't immaculately maintained. A pool can be a selling point in the right climate and price bracket, but nationally it's one of the most polarizing features a yard can have. It adds real ongoing cost, chemicals, cleaning, insurance, repairs, and it removes a meaningful chunk of buyers from your pool entirely. Families terrified of the liability, buyers who simply don't want the upkeep, buyers in colder climates who see it as dead space for half the year. If you have one, the move is to make sure it is spotless, the equipment is documented and working, and you're upfront about maintenance costs, because a neglected pool doesn't just fail to add value. Appraisers and inspectors will actively subtract for a pool showing cracks, cloudy water, or aging equipment. Number 2, poor drainage and standing water. Puddles that linger in the yard for days after rain, a soggy low spot near the foundation, water pooling against the house. These are some of the scariest things a buyer's inspector can find, because standing water near a foundation is directly tied to the fear every buyer has: water intrusion and foundation damage. Even if your foundation is completely fine, visible drainage problems make buyers assume the worst and negotiate accordingly, sometimes for many thousands of dollars. Regrading a problem area, adding a French drain, or extending downspouts away from the house are all moves in the hundreds to low thousands of dollars. Genuinely cheap insurance against a buyer's inspection turning into a 5-figure negotiation. And number 1, the single most dangerous item on this entire list, the one that can outright kill a sale at the closing table: unpermitted structures in the yard. That deck you built yourself one summer, the shed you had delivered without pulling a permit, the addition to the patio that was never inspected. None of it shows up as a problem until a title search, an appraisal, or a buyer's inspector flags it. And by then, it's not a simple negotiation. It's a legal and financial mess. Unpermitted work can force you to get retroactive permits under threat of tearing the structure down. It can spook a buyer's lender into refusing to finance the deal at all, and it can blow up a closing you thought was days away. This is the one item on this list that isn't really about how the yard looks. It's about paperwork, and paperwork can end a sale that a bad lawn never could. If you've built anything significant in your yard, a deck, a shed over a certain size, a fence over a certain height, an outdoor kitchen, check with your local building department now while you have time to pull a permit or document that the work is grandfathered in, instead of finding out during a 30-day closing window that you have a real problem. So let's run it back. 9 yard features quietly killing your home's resale value: chain link fencing, an overgrown foundation planting, a high maintenance water feature, an oversized hobby setup, trees too close to the house, a patchy lawn, a poorly maintained pool, bad drainage, and the big one, unpermitted structures. Notice the pattern. Almost none of these are about spending more money to impress a buyer. They're about removing doubt. Every fix on this list either costs very little or simply requires getting ahead of a problem before someone else finds it for you. Do that, and instead of a buyer walking your yard building a mental list of expenses, they're walking through picturing their own life there, which is exactly what gets you a strong offer instead of a lowball one. If this helped you look at your yard the way a buyer will, do me a favor and hit subscribe. This is Yardworthy, where we show you how to get the yard you want without wasting money. I'll see you in the next one.